So this episode today is maybe it's around right time to explain to all those noobs and all these childish engineers who are designing the modern bike components, and you can buy the Campagnolo or whatever super duper wheels you want. We're gonna show you where is the major problem. So every bike has this stupid through axle system, and now if we take a look in here, this one has a neck in here and it's narrowed. So now what the problem is, the bikes normally now this with disc and all the crap they use, they have one main issue: deflection of the inner axle. So now you can imagine this is the free hub, you have bearings inside. Of course, these bearings are only radial ones. This you can see it barely rotates. You can feel like it's dented inside because this doesn't allow you to have any kind of axial direction forces. So what it happens? It happens that eventually when you go uphill with very low gear, high torque, let's say 10 or 15, 16%, that all of a sudden, because of deflection of this inner axle and the outer axle, which is hollow, is made of aluminum alloy, and because you don't have support in here, even though if you have a straight one, this one is made for reducing the weight probably, and also because it's narrowed in here that you don't have any problem extracting it from the hub. Because if you have a straight one, which exists as well on different bikes, if you bend it slightly in a plastic deformation way, you will be hard to pull it out because it stays in that direction. So now we can take a look. This is the inner teeth which actuate with the this kind of teeth in here on the free hub body, and have springs and so on. And what happens when you go, let's say this is the case of a 97 kilogram bike rider, and the wheel is supposed to be, I don't know, 105, 110 as advertised. But no jerk knows what that data means, because when you go uphill, the weight distribution is obviously different. When you go uphill, of course, all the weight and all the forces going on the rear wheel. So that information, 110 kilograms, it's a bullshit. You don't know in what kind of situation is that. Is that dynamic load or is it static load or whatever? But every second bike has same issue. So now we take a look these dents. It should supposed to be smooth surface like in here. In here also one piece of the free hub body missing because it was torn away. And the reason for that is when you flex during high torque, heavy rider, extreme inclines, this start to bend. What allows to bend the free hub body? Of course, the axle, the inner and the outer axle, because in here it's the empty space. So when this bends, start to grind and denting these teeth inside the free hub body. When this happens, if you're lucky, you will not torn away the springs, you will not damage the bearings right away. But this is the only thing that official service or mechanics are neglecting. They never open this system, they say everything is okay, but because the first warning is that this is deflecting too much, or that it's not strong enough for your body weight, your riding characteristics, is that you start to have a dents in here. And when these dents starts to happen, you will have a strange noise. People think it's from the bottom bracket, but it's not. The rotation of free hub body becomes more slower. I mean, you can feel the resistance. When you pedal in the backwards, normally the chain will just deflect in this direction and touch the rear fork. And in this case, this is extreme, of course. It was noisy at first, sometimes was noisy, sometimes not. And it just hit because of deflection, these teeth were pushed backward so much that the entire spring system was, let's say, deactivated, and it torn one piece in where, I think it's on this direction. Yeah, in here it's missing. You see, it's supposed to be elongated like this. And this is just because of the stupidity of the engineering. So now what we do? We throw away any kind of axle that is made of aluminum alloy. You can have on the markets even bullshit, even more bullshit than this one. It's made of carbon fiber. It deflects even more. But those jerks, of course, they don't understand the heart of every bicycle is the rigidity of the rear axle. So what we do for these heavy loaders or whatever, we made full metal. It's not hollow. Full metal axle, and this solves a lot of problems. It doesn't allow you to deflect. Even if the outer axle, which is hollow aluminum, original one still, this one supports the outer axle so much firmly that you will not have any deflection. And even though in modern bicycles you will see that these bearings had to be changed very frequently, of course, because it's nonsense bullshit. These bearings doesn't allow you to have any kind of axial forces because these are radial. In some cases, if you open the bearing, you will see that some, like in here, one ball bearing was cut on half because the axial force was so severe that the edge of the inner and outer bearing presses in scissoring moment, like a cutting force. It just cuts the ball bearing on half. So for everyone who's saying these modern bikes are much more convenient, better than the previous one, even in the old-fashioned bikes, some axles were made the same way, but they had some special adapters in here for the quick release dropouts. But those hubs, for instance, GPM, even Campagnolo had the same issue like this one with the true axle, because the outer axle, you know, the system and the bearings like this are in use for, let's say, last 10 or 15 years or even more. But in that era, perhaps the difference was that people were not so fat and so heavy. But today, because of course everyone who's got 5 minutes of time, they go on the bike, they buy the lightest bike, and of course what they expect, this bike will fly by itself, but it's not. The difference is that if you are 50-60 kilos of rider on the system original design, maybe it will not have issue. But even from my experiences back in, I don't know what year, I had the same issue with the denting. Of course, sometimes we just machine this surface and make it more thinner so it doesn't touch. But the problem is that aluminum alloy, by dynamic forces, they start to have this dynamic fatigue, which means that every time you press it and release it, it will deflect more and more and more, have some kind of hysteresis. So it deflects during lifespan even more. So if you have carbon fiber axle, just throw it away. Just throw it away. There's no so much better material than a metal, full bar metal. Yes, of course, the bike will be a little bit heavier, but you know what? It will be the most reliable. So if you have any issues with your free hub body, please ask your mechanic to open the free hub body and check for the dents. Because even if you don't see it by discoloring like this, you can feel it. If you turn around with your fingers, you will feel it. So thanks for watching, and hope you will find yourself safe within this system. Bye.